wouldn't be a breakdown or review live stream if it wasn't without my boy Andy from the Why So Sidious podcast. Andy, before we break down Maul Shadow Lord episode 1 and 2, let's go ahead and talk about you and how you're doing on your side of things. How you doing, man?
Yeah, I'm all good, bro. Thank you very much for having me on again. We love Star Wars together, don't we? So, always an
We
absolute
do.
pleasure. Just hinting out there. You must have some new designs by now as well. I'm pretty sure, but you know,
That's the
um,
OG.
you, Clan Brandalorian. It's always a pleasure to be here. I only buy merch from my favourite podcasts, so it's all good. This, the Galactic Core. Why so Sidious?
Why so Sidious? Why so
But
Sidious?
yeah, I'm over at Why So Sidious now, rather than over at Galactic Core, taking a long-term sabbatical from Galactic Core and joined the boys over at Why So Sidious to, improve them, give them a bit of a push intellectually, and challenge them a bit more. So over there, we're covering everything nowadays. We've got such a busy month this month, because we're covering so much, like more Daredevil, The Boys, as well as some comic book stuff, as well as our usual Week in Geeks, where we bring you all the latest nerd news as well. So you can head over YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, um, X, Twitter, whatever you want to call it, and you can find us over there, Spotify, Apple Podcasts. That's what we're up to at the moment.
Absolutely, yeah. If you guys are nerds, which I mean, if you're watching the channel right now or watching the playback, you're probably a nerd. There's probably 90% chance that you're a nerd. So go follow them because they really cover everything, just like Andy just mentioned. So, it's more than Star Wars, and I believe this is like you mentioned to me in DM that this month is just a really good month for nerds all around, right?
Yeah, there's so much going on. I mean, like we said, Maul's just dropped. You've already got Daredevil, on the Disney Plus going on. The Boys just restarted its final season today, so that's cracking. Invincible as well. So there is just so much going on. It is absolutely unreal. As well as we've got our Road to Secret Wars, because with Doomsday starting out in December. So our Road to Secret Wars comic book reviews, with a few others coming up, because we've got the Punisher special that's coming out in May. So we're covering the comic book that's based on Supergirl as well. It's just so much
Damn.
going on. This week alone, I'm doing, because I'm obviously it's Star Wars, so I'm always asked to go on, like I'm so happy to, lots of podcasts to cover Star Wars stuffs. So just
Right.
this week alone, I'm doing 6 different recordings between guest appearances and my own podcast. So from today until Sunday, I'm doing 6 different recordings. So
Good
it's
Lord.
it's absolutely mental.
Well, yeah, and as always, we appreciate you, Andy, and I appreciate you joining me because, yeah, you're one of my favorite people to talk Star Wars with. We've been doing it since the beginning of, the content start creation journey, whatever you want to call it. It's just been a good time, and yeah, if you guys didn't know, last year Andy and I broke down Skeleton Crew every single week, and it did pretty well. We had a really good time, and like I've mentioned before, it's not our top tier favorite Star Wars, but we had fun and we reviewed it to the best of our knowledge, and that's what we're going to try to do here with Maul Shadow Lord. And yeah, Rotten Tomatoes already has this at 100%, just right off the rip. So
Man,
I think everyone should be probably more than happy with the Maul Shadow Lord so far. I know we're gonna go ahead and talk about it, but yeah, dude, are you ready to get into it?
absolutely, let's do it.
Sweet. So, if you guys didn't know, chapter 1 was titled The Dark Revenge. So, going into it, you almost have no idea how Maul Shadow Lord is going to start. I was anticipating more of like a flashback to maybe Maul's younger days, or even when Maul fell down the reactor shaft on
Mm.
Naboo, that little traumatizing experience for the guy. I was kind of expecting that, kind of like Book of Boba Fett when we got to see Boba get out of the Sarlacc pit. We got to see that actually happen, and that's what I thought we would have with Maul. But kind of jumping ahead real quick, Rook Cast knows that Maul has a lot of visions, and whether it's past or present or even into the future, we might be seeing some flashbacks of some sort, kind of like with Grogu and Order 66. So I think that's pretty cool. But yeah, overall, what did you think of this first episode, The Dark Revenge?
My favourite out of the two that we got this week, by
Yes.
quite a bit distance actually. I thought there was quite a big gap for me between episode 1 and 2 in terms of like the intriguing quality. Episode 2 felt more like setup, sort of moving
Yes.
forward. So, but that start of the episode I thought was great because obviously you've got like the Mandos hunting down something, you're not sure what it is. Obviously, it just turns out to be credits or gold. To be fair, but obviously Maul's entrance here was sublime. We kind of like it's funny because obviously when you've watched the trailers as much as we do, when we talk about the trailers and we're just like loving them anyway, and then you recognise exactly where something's about to happen from the trailer. So even though you saw it coming when they're all lined up and they've sort of maybe cornered, they think they cornered the Mandalorians, and you're just like, Maul's about to pop out here, and then he obviously does. Double-ended
Yeah,
lightsaber. The music kicks off. Duel of the Fates. What a start to Maul. So I don't think they could have had a better start to this because he set up something intriguing straight away with the Mandalorians or Death Watch trying to get stuff, and then
right.
Maul, and that's all you needed, really, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was such a good beginning, and I did feel like this started off probably as strong as any other animated series. To be honest, the only other really strong start I think was Bad Batch, and getting to see a young Kanan and Depa Balaba, and just another POV of Order 66. You really get into it, but I feel with Maul Shadow Lord we did the same thing. We really got after it. And the intro credit, like the title card, was awesome. Getting to see the flames behind the Maul Shadow Lord logo, really cool. I did like that a lot. But before we kind of get into it more, let's hit up the chat real quick. Just see the comments coming in here. Mando United, hey guys, hey, how's it going, man? You're in the UK as well, correct? I believe you're across the pond as well. I'm glad to see you here. Appreciate you. Skywalking Ryan, as usual. Happy Wednesday. How is everyone? I'm doing good. I'm doing good, man. Thank you. How are you doing? And Mr. JT Lovecraft, hey, what's up, man? Thanks for chiming in. This is Mr. Star Killer himself. This is Sam Witwer. Does an awesome Star Killer cosplay. Love to see it. But love to
Nice.
see you here, man. Thanks for joining. But yeah, one of the first things I did have mentioned for Maul Shadow Lord, the first episode, I really like how you get to feel the tone. It's nice and gritty. It's dark. The watercolor paintings in the background. That's one of my favorite things with this animation style. Is it really looks like a still frame painting. Like it's just right there, but it's so stunning. And seeing Rook Cast and the Mandalorians kind of like skyscraper walking down on their cables just looks so awesome. So yeah, it's stunning right off the bat, and plus you really get to capture the sense of time with it only being a year after Order 66.
Mm.
So good little time of Star Wars there. Yeah, dude, absolutely love the beginning. It was really cool. What do you think of Maul kind of embracing no longer being a Sith, but kind of more so wanting to dive into this criminal empire, even though we've seen him with Siege of Mandalore and ruling that. Wasn't the greatest ruler, let's be honest. But yeah, what did you think of the tone with Maul?
Yeah, it's interesting because we kind of already seen him like this, haven't we? Because it doesn't really stray too far from what he was like, say towards the end of Clone Wars, and obviously maybe his tone in Rebels is a little bit different because he's a bit older and he's trying to
Right.
do stuff, but. When he fully comes out as Maul, probably in the fight with the Inquisitors, that's probably when we see him more like the original Maul. But I guess yeah, we've already seen him like this. So in terms of his tone and everything, it doesn't seem maybe too different. But he's obviously recovering from everything that he'd lost after building the Shadow Collective and then being captured by Sidious and then being broken out and then having to go underground and then everything he went through in Order 66 as well. So he sort of is got a lot to catch up on and a lot to rebuild, and he's obviously in a space where he's confident still about what he
Right.
can do. Because at the end of the day, why shouldn't he be? He's vicious. He's aggressive, and he has no reason to fear any of these crime lords, does he? So
No.
setting him up on the planet that he's on is interesting because I don't think we ever had confirmed where obviously this planet was going to be. They never say the name of the planet throughout the first two episodes because you could easily mistake it for Coruscant at the beginning.
Yep.
But I can't remember what it's called off the top of my head. I did have it written down somewhere.
Janik.
That's it. Sorry. So it's a very similar aesthetic to Coruscant, where we've seen him sort of a little bit before as well. And I suppose maybe like the underground of Mandalore, it's probably not too dissimilar to that either. So he's probably in like a familiar surrounding. It's comfortable for him, but I mean, I know we'll probably talk about it later anyway, but just in the first episode as well, the voice acting. To obviously, we know how good Sam Witwer is with Maul's voice, but I messaged you, didn't I? And I said that first episode, Sam Witwer milked that Maul voice for every inch of its worth. It was so dramatic. It was so like it was so theatre like. It was like Sidious, you know. My brain's going, and the actor that plays him, Ian McDermott, because obviously he had theatre training. So when you think about Ian McDermott's theatre training that he brings into Star Wars, you think of, you know, the tragedy of Darth Plagueis, the conversations he has with Luke in Episode 6. He uses his theatre training to his max, and like Sam Witwer did the same with Maul's voice in the first episode. It was just glorious, just like giving it a low growl or elongating some of the words out, and it was just purring, and
Yeah.
it was so beautiful, and it just adds to this aura that Maul has, especially when he's talking to his like you know his commanders and stuff like that, because they probably sit there and go, "This guy's so dramatic, he's so over the top, it's unreal." At the same time, like you would be encapsulated when he's giving a speech, wouldn't you? So
Oh yeah.
he goes back to his more of his like standard voice in the second episode, but that first one, it just purred all over the place, and it was just like, ooh. It was kind of like reminded me of like I guess in Bad Batch when the only time we see Palpatine, what was it, season two, and Ian McDermott came back to voice Palpatine when he comes up the
Oh
room of
yeah.
the in the Senate, and he gives that
Ah.
speech, and he was so menacing. That was like his theatre training down to a T as well. So these guys have got it down, and like that first episode, I was just loving Maul all over. He set himself up perfectly. He has no reason to fear anyone, and he wants his stuff back essentially. And he wants to build himself back up. So setting
Yeah.
a good ground for it, but obviously the visions as well interesting that he's been getting because we know he does get those because we saw that from season 7 of Clone Wars when he had the visions about Anakin, and the fall of the Jedi and the Republic. So setting up that he's had visions about you know the particular person that he wants to be his apprentice. So a lot of setup, a lot of exposition, but it was worth it as well.
Yeah, dude. I think that was really cool too. And that only leaves you open-minded more so with what to expect going forward, because if Maul is still continuing that aspect of him, especially from season 7 of the Clone Wars, it doesn't feel like there's been too much time after. I mean, I know a year can be a short amount of time, depending on how you look at it, could be a long time. But Maul hasn't really changed too much. You know, he's only basically learned from his mistakes. So now I'm really excited to see how losing to Ahsoka really influenced him to, go a different way or to kind of look at things differently, because he references that grand plan. And it's, is it to take down the Empire and Palpatine specifically, or is it to pretty much just run everything underneath the Empire? Because he's running into that crime syndicate title, but then he also, like the grand plan that he's mentioning. It's like which is it? Because we do know that there's going to be, they hint in these first two episodes a lot, actually, getting the Empire involved. And that's like a big thing. And they want Janix to kind of stay away from that,
Mm.
since it's kind of ruled in its own little faction. But we know that Marak is going to show up. We know that the Crow, the 11th brother, is going to show up. And potentially Vader at the end. We have no idea yet. But they're definitely painting that picture to where the Empire is going to be present. So does Maul want to get the Empire involved? It doesn't really seem like he's ducking the Empire, because obviously taking out the crime syndicates right off the rip, like characters like Vario did a little bit of work for Maul
Mm.
and helped him out. Now he's just, the annoying little side character that we always need in Star Wars, and does a great job. I actually really like that character. Actually made me laugh a couple times. But yeah, so the mentioning of the Black Sun, Death Watch, and the Pikes, and seeing the Pikes again, just get completely annihilated. It was really cool to see Maul back in action. So I think that this first episode really paints that picture of, hey, if you forgot who Maul was, this is who he is, by the way. Or even if you're a new viewer, same what we went ahead and discussed about how you don't even need to watch other Star Wars. You can start with Maul Shadow Lord and you'll be just fine. I I can kind of see where he's coming from. But if you don't know Maul, like, this is a good story, of course, just to start with, because I mean he's kicking ass already. He has great dialogue, like you mentioned, and he also has so many different cool personality switches, and that's why I'm really excited to see what happens with Devin. So with Devin, Andy, do you think that this, it's the big fan theory. Do you think that this is the canon version of Darth Talon, or do you think she's going to have her own identity, or simply is it something for Star Wars fans just to easily come up with, something easy to think about? What do you think she's going to be?
Yeah, I kind of hope she isn't a canon version of Darth Talon. Um, let that stay in Legends. I know they just immediately went, oh, same race, so let's immediately just say that that could be
Yeah.
her. Um, and even in Legends, she appeared like after the sequels, so to speak,
Yeah.
or after the original trilogy. So yeah, I hope she's her own character. I hope they're not just like plucking bits of Darth Talon from Legends and intermixing it with, say, like some new ideas for her character and therefore making her a bit of a hybrid. I just hope that she's her own character. Um,
Yeah.
I think I'm more annoyed about the fact that there are still more Order 66 survivors. Like, come on, how many more are you going to give us? Like, come on, like, have you not done enough now? Because originally, like, before Disney owned Star Wars, there was like three, and now I
Yeah.
think they said that there's like close to 100 Order
Shit, I've
66
read
survivors.
reports that there's up to thousands. And I'm just like, okay,
Which
come
there
on.
can't be
Like,
because there was 10,000 Jedi. And if there were
right.
thousands left, then how can they consider the job to be done and how were the Empire allowed to carry on? Because surely all those Jedi would
Yeah.
have got back together. But the fact that they just
Yeah.
keep finding ways to give us more and more, it's just unreal. So, um, yeah, I hope she's her own character. I really want to see her own character develop. I don't want her to be a hash of anything really. So, it would be more pleasurable to see her own characteristics come out and how she deals with things rather than it be just a rip off of someone from Legends.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with you. I definitely want her to be her own character. I mean, they're already dropping legacy merch for her, like the her lightsaber at Disney. I think that's an insane thing already. We just met the character, and I at first I feel like the influence maybe from like George Lucas's unfinished sequel trilogy, which I mean I think he had plans, like if it was to happen, but clearly it didn't get finished, and it really didn't even go as far as even like a finished idea. It just seemed like a quick little popcorn idea. That would be cool, like old Maul, like we're used to young Maul and like kind of up to middle age Maul, but like I don't Darth Talon, cool, whatever. But I think Devin could be even bigger than what Talon was. I feel like this character has a chance to be a much more powerful character, especially under Maul's influence. But I think it is cool that they bring in another younger female character to kind of take the place of what Ahsoka could have been. So now us as viewers and knowing the story, we're like, so this character in Devon Izara could have potentially been what Ahsoka would have been if she took his hand. So that's kind of what I think. Yeah, I definitely want her to be her own character as well. But Why So Sidious is here. What's going on? I don't
Yeah.
know who,
No,
which
it could
of
be
the
any of it.
four.
Could be any of the
It,
fuckers. Like,
is
sorry.
is it? It could no, it's fine. It could be Andy.
Yeah,
Maybe
I
Andy's
mean, I'm
typing.
I'm just typing out here. I mean, yeah, White Sidious is in the room. So I mean,
Yeah,
by the way that they're either watching it from the beginning, they weren't here from the start, which is like, why are you doing? Why were you not here from the start? And so they're probably about like 5-10 minutes behind, which is why they're just saying things like intellectually, because I said that I joined Wives of the Cities to lift them up intellectually. So they probably started watching it a bit late, which means
that's what I.
it could be Dave because his Wi-Fi's so bad he's always about 20 minutes behind the rest of us.
Oh no, he
Um,
needs that fiber.
but from the way that it's written, it sounds like it could be JD to me. So hi guys, thanks for tuning in.
Yeah, thank you, and yeah, you're welcome for the kind words. I love you guys. You guys are great. Um,
Oh, the loser without a job, so it's JD. Yeah, okay. He
yep,
could
we
be he
found
could,
out who it was.
he could be talking about me to be fair. So because stay-at-home parent. So
Yeah,
yeah, going back to what you're saying, like I don't necessarily agree with Sam Witwer's comments about that you could just start watching this show having not watched anything to do with Maul before and it'd be fine. Because I think the whole point of this show is that you need to know some of that background.
yeah, you need
Um,
to know more of
yeah.
them all.
So you don't like, okay, you can even get away with saying, okay, Rebels, if you don't really need to watch that right now, like in terms of the timeline, because obviously this was well before
Yeah,
that. and you could even maybe skip episode one, but definitely I think Clone Wars more you need to have seen to then appreciate what's going on here and why this we're one we're excited about the character and two why he's so feared as well because you see how he
Yep.
takes over Mandalore, you see how he almost takes down the everything at the end of the Clone Wars. So
Yep.
without that knowledge, I think it's you can always watch anything without having seen any history, and you can just treat everything else as a prequel and go, I'm going to start at this point, and you can do that. I guess there's nothing wrong with doing that, so to speak. But I think to really appreciate it, you need to have watched this before.
Yeah. No, I'm definitely down with that as well. You gotta kind of plug in because I mean, if you watch Maul Shadow Lord episode one and and all you really have background knowledge is just from the Phantom Menace, which I mean, you just know he's cool. I mean, he's just like not there for much of the time, maybe
Mm.
what is it like 7 minutes of screen time, if that. So that's cool. And of course, growing up with that movie, I always loved seeing Maul, loved Maul, Maul here, Maul there. I just think it's crazy now. I'm much older, and I'm thinking like I would have never guessed that Maul would ever have his own show, and especially because we thought he died. But then Clone Wars brought him back, and even his Clone Wars story is really cool. It's very intriguing, and it kind of paints that picture for Maul to be that character that could have been so much more. And I think that's kind of what they're trying to do with Maul Shadow Lord. And then you got to think of other projects like at the end of Solo where he's brought in
Mm.
for 45
Yeah.
seconds, and where does time go with that? But yeah, it's super weird. Mando definitely need to have seen some stuff to get the most out of it. Yeah, 1000%. Cole Cohen, what's going on? What's up, boys? Hey, what's up, man? Thanks for joining. But yeah, so Mr. Secret Agent, man, what are we thinking of Brander Lawson? What do we think of this cop slash detective, Mr. Narcos? What are we thinking of this character?
I felt like they focused a bit too much on him throughout the two episodes. To be honest, I wanted a bit more disposition of what was going on with Death Watch and Maul. To be honest,
Mm-hmm.
I felt like they just kept patting back to him for moments that didn't really matter. Um, so and then they just cut back really quickly to something else. So you get him for like a
Yep.
minute, and then they cut back to something else. It's like, okay, was that really needed? Like, are we supposed to see that he's kind of like a desperate dad that's like not connected with his son? And I guess you need some sort of background on the characters to get to know them. But yeah, I felt I was watching the two episodes going, they're spending too much time on this dude for nothing, and they're not really giving us too much about him. Like it's not like it's the old school days where this is like a 24 episode series where you've got time to lay the groundwork. Like I think that's a lot of complaint that we have nowadays, isn't it? Is that when you've only got 6 or 8 episodes of a show, don't waste time, and especially if it's like this, it's only going to be like 25-minute episodes. Don't waste time on useless scenes that don't mean anything. So just I'm not really invested in this character right now. I'm more invested in Two Boots, to be honest,
Yeah,
than
yeah.
I am this dude. So he's obviously we're going to see more of his confrontations with Maul and how he copes with things moving on. He's obviously under pressure now from the. It's interesting that obviously we've got to learn a bit more about why he doesn't want to call into the why he doesn't want to call in the Empire, and the fact that that woman came to see him and said, "Oh, you're under pressure. That you've only got us. You've got to sort this out quickly, or so and so's
Yeah.
going to call the Empire in. Presumably the boss is above him." Um, so, but right now, I'm not particularly invested in him. To be honest, I didn't think that much of him. It just seems like another generic cop. To be honest.
Yeah. And I think with that character kind of coming in and Maul, I've seen a lot of people talk about this online too. It's like why didn't Maul kill him when he could have? So obviously we
I
know that he's going to
literally
be
said that.
he's literally going to be a character that is, going to be in all of the episodes, but thinking about it, it's like what is he going to end up being kind of like an ally to Maul? I mean, would that go against his ideology of being like a cop or law enforcement? So that could be a very interesting thing, or maybe Maul has something for him, like a position for him to help out, or maybe Maul tricks him into thinking like, hey, I know you want these crime syndicates like wiped from, your city or your planet, right? If you help me out, I will help you out by wiping all of them out to where you can have like a crimeless planet. Who knows? But yeah, I thought that was interesting because he just, bumped him under the chin with the lightsaber, and he went night night.
As soon as it happened, I literally turned to my wife and went, "Why did he not kill him? Like he's just
Yeah.
killed everyone else in like four corridors. Why would you let this guy go?" So yeah, obviously maybe Maul senses something or sees something in him that maybe you can exploit later down the line.
Mm-hmm.
Because obviously he was spying on him, wasn't he? When the two
Yeah.
crime bosses went to meet and stuff, and so yeah, yeah, I'm not investing in this character. Like Maul should kill him off, be done with it. Then what's the point? You don't need to manipulate people when you can just do what Maul does.
Yeah. Yeah. Maul is really good at that. I think for me right now, Brander's that character that I pull from every show, movie, or series where I'm just like, okay, that's my character. That's my favorite side character right there. He's in the category with the Cobb Vance, the Crow Inquisitor, Quinlan Voss. Like he's up there in that category of just like awesome side characters. But it also helps when they have such awesome like actors from other shows that I like, and I'm just like, oh, now they're in Star Wars. I like this. This is cool. Studtastic Studios is here. How's it going? Maul Shadow Lord was awesome. Yes, it was awesome. Thanks for joining, man. It might pay off. The mother could be someone important. Maybe, yeah. I wonder who the mom is. I don't know.
I mean, you mentioned
Maybe.
it quickly just then. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No,
When
go
you were
ahead.
saying about like voices of people coming in from other shows. How stacked is this voice cast, by the way?
Yeah.
Because like we were sat after the two episodes looking up the various people because I paused it on the credits to see the list of people and we were just looking them up because I was like was it Master Ikadio Daki, like the old Jedi dude. I was like, I
Yeah.
recognise that voice, and I was like, I'm sure it's Dennis Haysbert, and looked it up, and it is Dennis Haysbert. And
Are
obviously, you
you
got
in
like
good hands?
Richard Ayoade playing Two Boots. Obviously, he was in Mandalorian playing was it Zero, the bounty droid.
Yeah. Yeah.
And obviously, I know Richard Ayoade loads from being in the UK. But then you look at
Yeah.
like Vanessa Marshall, obviously come back to voice Rook Cast, but she's done loads of stuff in Star Wars already. She was the voice of Hera in Rebels.
Yep.
So massive. Obviously, Steve Blum coming back to do Icarus. One of the Zarbreks, he voiced Zeb and various other characters throughout Star Wars. Chris, I'm gonna butcher his surname now, but Chris Diamantopoulos, who
Yeah.
did Vario, he's done so many bits and pieces as well. Um, and there was the guy that does the voice for Spybot, the evil little droid. Um, he did
Oh
Proxy in
yeah.
The Force Unleashed. So he's obviously worked with Sam Witwer before in terms of voice acting.
And
Because they did.
droid to force sensitive user. Galen Merrick to proxy. Yeah.
So this voice cast is stacked. And it's going to
Yeah.
be and it's obviously good voice casting is always great because I think Marvel have fallen down a little bit on that front because when they've done some of their animated series and they've got the actors that play them in live action to come back and voice them, and you can always
Mm-hmm.
tell when a live action actor isn't used to doing voice acting because they come across quite bland and a little bit shouty and it's not quite right. So to have a stacked, I mean, some of the other characters that just have been all over video games as well. So this is going to be epic because you just know that the
Mm-hmm.
voices of every character is going to be good.
I know, and it's like the big three is awesome. Sam Witwer, Gideon Adlin, and then Wagner Mora. Like those are really that's a good big three right there. They're all very good in outside projects as well. I mean, Sam is just we know him so much, and he is always plays very very inspired characters in Star Wars. I mean, Sam Witwer's always been there for the most part, and maybe we'll see him in Ahsoka season 2 as the son live action. Who knows? But yeah, it's good to have him back, and like you said, he's killing it so far. And did you see the post that Star Wars did on Instagram? I think they posted it maybe like an hour before we started, but Sam Witwer likes to have apples prepared on the side when he does Maul's voice. So what he does is there's sliced apples and he'll bite one, and as he's kind of going through the lines, it's able to kind of enhance his voice and really get into capturing Maul's voice. It was the weirdest thing, but I was just like, hey, whatever works. We all have our things. So it's just like, okay, so Sam Witwer plus apples equals Maul. So
Fair.
cool. Interesting.
I'll give it a go. I'll be
Yeah.
at the
Why
market
not?
tomorrow. trying out different fruits. Which one gives me Vader?
Yeah. Oh man, that's freaking awesome. But yeah, I was just like, man, this is great. So yeah, that episode one was definitely the best. That had the longest runtime. But from some friends of the channel, I've been told because I've seen the first 8 episodes that it does like the run times are pretty much the same going forward. So it seems like we're going to be expecting short run times, nothing too long, nothing too crazy. So that's the only thing where it's like, damn it, we always want long Star Wars, especially live action. When you stay up till 2 a.m. or to watch the premiere of the newest episodes, and you're like, oh, so a 32-minute Mandalorian season 3 episode. Great. Got it. At least I'll be going back to bed soon, I guess. But, I want a rich story, and I want to watch as long as I can. So maybe with Maul Shadow Lord, they'll start, kicking up the speed. So episode 3 and 4 could be pretty huge. But episode 2, sinister schemes,
Mm.
not too much. Like you mentioned, a lot of building up to the third episode, which is titled Whispers in the Unknown. So I think they really are going to set up something really good here. But episode 2, any pulls from there? Anything for you?
I mean, good to see the Pikes back, I guess. Good to see Maul destroying the Pikes because they're filthy little bastards.
I hate the
Um,
Pikes.
um, I mean, just him. Obviously, just the main bit of the episode is him working on Devon a little bit, and just you can see he's just trying to get her to use her emotions rather than a Jedi training. He's like, you can walk out of here anytime you want, and he's obviously just insinuating that you've got to use your emotions to enhance your power to escape that room,
Mm-hmm.
and get yourself out. Yeah, but I mean, it's just how much he wants to play on. I mean, I agree with this comment, by the way. I really hope they don't introduce too many side characters because you do want it to be about Maul and his situation. They're obviously
Yep.
planning a story with Lawson on the side as well as the Jedi and Apprentice. So there's going to be 3 or 4 different plots running throughout this, and we've already been told they're going to do a season 2. So it is possible that we don't get the story wrapped up in this season, which is I'm a long term hater of that kind of thing. I'm like each season should be individually like contained. You shouldn't be rolling. You can roll small plot
100%.
points over for like the long game, or
Mm-hmm.
like the sort of something going on between 2 characters you can play out over multiple seasons. But like like a story itself should be contained within one season. Like stretching out over 2 or 3 seasons is just annoying to me because I'm like,
Yep.
if I really got to wait like another year and a half, whatever it's going to be, to get like the continuation of this, it's just a bit annoying. So, so I hope that with them setting up like episode 2 was just a lot of exposition and setting things up. I think so. Obviously the showdown with the Pikes is coming, which should be good. Just we're going to see a lot more Maul kicking ass, which I think is just definitely
Mm-hmm.
going to be good. And the only thing I sort of took away, and I can't remember to be honest if this was episode 1 or 2, but when he's chatting with Rook Cast, and he was talking about the grand plan and the fact that if he finds his apprentice and things go the way that he thinks, hopefully he should be able to take down even Darth Sidious. And the way he goes Darth Sidious, and then Rook just kind of looks off to the side, and she's like, Sidious. And it kind of made me doubt whether she believes that that's possible,
Mm-hmm.
whether she thinks that like Maul can really achieve that because that's what he tried to get Ahsoka to do, and it didn't work. He
Right.
tried to do it with Savage, and obviously that's what got him imprisoned in the first place. So they had to go and break him out because he had nowhere near the ability and power to take on Sidious, even with 2 of them. So um, it just made me whether I don't know whether it was just me, if it was just a fleeting thing or not, but it just gave the impression that maybe Rick doesn't 100% believe that taking down Sidious is a possibility, and she's more interested in just regaining the power that the Shadow Collective had in the criminal underworld, rather than taking out Sidious and things like that, and then being in charge of the galaxy or being able to run the galaxy from the criminal underground. So I don't know. I mean, do you have any thoughts on that, or was it just me?
It was a good pull. Like hearing them talk about characters that we know of, big characters in the story. It's always great to see. But yeah, it's is where does Rook end up? And that's kind of like what I'm thinking in this entire sequence because I'm just like because obviously, like you mentioned, it doesn't seem like she really believes in him. But
Hmm.
obviously this plan right now is working and it benefits her. Basically, she's in for work, and I don't know what else she could really be doing at this time. So I do think it's cool though that when they mention the big bad, because they say that Maul is all about bad guys versus worse guys. So it seems like Maul is still pretty much the bad guy. Same with Rook. She's a bad girl. So I think them kind of referencing the emperor and understanding what's at stake. I do think it's like a cool thing to see that Rook is just kind of like, yeah, guy, but I won't say that to you, but sure. And also that kind of makes me think like what has Maul told her about trying to get to Palpatine, if that is the grand plan, that he's orchestrating, and what role would Rook Cast take place? Like, is she gonna be the one that's gonna like aid them to Palpatine to take them down? Like, how is that gonna work? Obviously, we know that doesn't work, but yeah, it's very interesting now that you kind of point that out.
I mean, it just made me think that she's seen Maul go through two quite big defeats. Obviously, getting captured by Sidious, and then realistically getting captured by the clones in Ahsoka in the Siege of
Mm-hmm.
Mandalore, when he sacrificed Mandalore really to just escape.
Yeah.
And gave up his rule there, so to speak. So it kind of makes me think: is she just staying there out of fear, or does she really believe in what he's got planned? Just by going, like, I would rather stand by a guy who's powerful, but I don't really believe in him because I've seen him be defeated one too many times now to really believe
Yeah.
that he's the one that can pull this off. Or am I just staying here out of fear because there's nothing else better out there, and better to be fearful and against the guy and stand alongside the guy that's powerful rather than be out on
Right.
my own and be an enemy of this guy by not agreeing to go back to him.
Or hey, yeah, where does she go like forward? What if yeah,
I mean,
insane.
it makes it an interesting concept to the fact that she's still one of the heavy favourites to be the person who becomes um, the armorer in the
Right.
Mandalorian. So maybe like after everything she goes through here, she then, because she's Death Watch, and obviously the
Yep.
Children of the Night are an offshoot of Death Watch. So
Yep.
maybe that after events of Maul Shadow Lord, she decides that she's going to go off and hide herself and becomes a zealot as part of the Children of the Watch and becomes the armorer. This is how the armorer knows so much about the Jedi in the past and everything that's gone through there with oh God, what's her name? Why is my brain goes blank at names nowadays? I've got a
Are you
helmet
getting
behind me there.
Bo-Katan?
That's it. Like names just go sometimes.
Andy, are
Like
you
how she,
getting old, bro?
mate, I am old. I'm old and I'm tired and I'm ill. Uh, so
We
how
forgive you.
why she knows so much about the Jedi and Bo-Katan and the dark saber and stuff like that. So interesting to see. She's not even like that big a character because she's not played a master. She didn't play like a huge part of the Clone Wars, and we've not really
Right.
seen her since. So, but she could become one of those interesting characters that develops into the armor if they wanted to like retcon that at any point.
Yeah, and I'm always down with that theory because it sounds very organic. And plus, we know the armor from the Mandalorian, and we know Rootcast from Rebels, Clone Wars, and even here in Maul Shadow Lord. So I really think this would be cool. I mean, one huge indicator is the horns on the helmet, which the connection to Death Watch is always a big factor, and just being loyal. And maybe this is what all of the tactics that she had from being a Maul loyalist and kind of like a strict leader for the Mandalorians and everything for the Siege of Mandalore. Maybe her being the armor is herself kind of redeeming herself to getting back forward with the Mandalorians. So now she's the armor and she plays a big part. And her telling Din Djarin that he has to bathe in the living waters to redeem himself. I mean, who knows that she didn't once go down there and redeem herself? Maybe that's how she goes from Rootcast to the armor. So I think since she knows about that and all the history and the lore that she knows, yeah, man, she knows people. And I think that's I mean, you can change at any point in your life. I mean, that's just we see that a lot in Star Wars. I mean, if you're Anakin Skywalker, you can slaughter a bunch of younglings and, you're redeemed by your son. It works, right? So who says that Rook Cast can't be the armor? I really like that theory. It's probably one of my favorite current Star Wars fan theories right now. It would be cool to see that kind of unfold. Wouldn't be mad at it at all. So, but yeah, yeah, episode 2 kind of, it was okay. It was just too short. 42 Slart Bart Fasts. I can't remember how to say your name, but it sounds like you haven't watched it yet. You should go watch it. I hope we're not spoiling it for you. So go watch it. It's really good. It won't be a lot of your time. It should be like 40, 45 minutes altogether to watch these 2 episodes. But yeah, episode 2, it was cool. It was just, yeah, like I said, super short. I do really like the dark tones that they continue with. Can't wait to see that unfold more in episode 3. But I think this week we'll have a really good introduction, and maybe this is where we see the Empire get called upon and the Pikes, of course, getting ended. But yeah, overall, I mean, what's a good breakdown with Brandon and Andy if we don't, rank and rate these episodes? So collectively, put these 2 episodes together, Andy. What are you ranking these out of 10?
Ooh.
10 being the highest.
Yeah, it's interesting. So I looked at some of the ratings. Like I said, Rotten Tomatoes already has 100%.
Yep.
IMDb has it 8.5 out of 10. TMDB has it 7.2 out of 10. Um, like I said, I think episode 1 is far better than the second one. Um, but I still like the second one. It's setting up. There's nothing wrong with that. So I reckon overall I'll give it 8.2 out of 10, which is damn high for me because over at Wise Cities they know I'm not easy to give out high ratings.
Yeah. Beautiful. Yeah. Absolutely. Sweet. The man has spoken. I For me, I'd go a good 9 out of 10. I think the hype and the anticipation was really good. The one knock, in my opinion, is just the run times. I wish they could be just a little bit longer. 35 minutes, I feel like would be just a sweet spot. And it's animated, so like if there were 40 to 45 minute episodes, I feel like we would be really getting spoiled at that point. But for animation, I really want to look for 30 to 35 minutes. As live action, I want 45 to 55 minutes. I
2 hours. I want a film every week.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, I come from The Walking Dead and Breaking Bad. I want, almost hour episodes. And I
I
wish we
mean,
could get projects releasing every year, but we gotta we're Disney fans, we're Star Wars fans, so we have to wait, 3 years in between seasons of things.
if you want shows with long episodes that are full of drama, that are dramatic, have good acting, K dramas are unbelievable. I know that's a veer off the path from like nerd culture. Korean TV shows are unreal. They're like 16 episodes a season, an hour and a half runtime for each episode. So you're
Damn.
talking like 22 hours for a season. So it is my wife always laughs at me because she's like, how long's this episode? I'm like, hour and 25. Next one's an hour and 40. Like the finale's
Damn.
The finale's 2 hours 20. So it's
Wow.
if you like long run times, Korean dramas are amazing for that.
Might have to check that out and get into that because I kind of want something more worth my time. If I want to watch something quick, then that's when I kind of rely on animated. But I'm just not too big of like an anime fan, or you know, I don't know. I just like Star Wars animation for the most part. But that's why I'm always like, look, it has to be at least 30 minutes, 35 minutes. Like I get it, but
Yeah,
I don't
I've always
know.
had that thing that like live action should be like an hour per episode, and like
Yes.
animated should be like 30, 35. But there's not.
Yeah.
It's like 45. I swear, with live action now, it's like opening episode is 45 minutes. Everything else that is like 35 to 40, and then
Mm-hmm.
animated is the same, where it's going to be like 30 minutes, and then it's going to be like 20 to 25 minutes per episode after that. So yeah, I don't know who decided that animated episodes need to only be like 20 minutes long, but they need to
Yeah.
sort that out.
Yeah. They need to figure that out. It needs to get longer, especially, once the Inquisitors come in, I really feel like that's where the show just takes off because that's the premise right now is, Maul versus the Empire. And this is also year 1, and it may not even be a year yet because the Inquisitors were established after, Order 66. So, recruiting these inquisitors and these certain people who don't want to, destin with the light side anymore kind of fall into place. And, like the Grand Inquisitor. And along the way, they find, Riva, which, she would have been a kid still at this point. So, and Barasafi. So, I mean, there's so many different characters, but right now they're maybe under a year of the Inquisitor program. So maybe we get to see, the first little introduction of the Inquisitors, and maybe they have some flaws and knacks that they haven't completely got a good hold of yet, and maybe that's why Vader has to step in. Maybe this is where Marok dies. Maul takes him to Dathomir and then gets resurrected, and Morgan Elsbeth takes over and finds a use for him. But then again, that's even still so many years ahead until Ahsoka. And we know that the Crow dies to Ahsoka. So it just seems like Ahsoka's like the Inquisitor killer, right? Like the two Inquisitors we get here, they've both been killed by Ahsoka. So,
Did you get any of
but
them in the Rebels season 2 finale? Because I know Maul did one. Um,
Maul got the fourth brother or something like that.
oh, he got the seventh sister as well, didn't he?
So did he get two then?
Maybe two out of the four. One
Fifth
tried to fly
brother.
tried to fly away, didn't he? And his lightsaber just failed, and he just fell. And he was assumed dead, but
Yeah,
no confirmation on that one, to be honest.
it's Star Wars. You never know.
So maybe she didn't. Maybe that was all Maul.
So yeah, yeah.
Maybe that's it. Maybe
I
after this season, it tips over to Maul in terms of like the numbers of Inquisitors killed.
Yeah, that's amazing. So yeah, so it is Slarty Bartfast, the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. Okay, I got you. I got you. Makes sense. I'm definitely on the 9 out of 10 for both. Cool, cool. After watching the first two episodes, they're very cool visually. I think it would be cool to see in a movie theater. Yeah, it really would be. It's really cool. Do we have the run times for all the episodes? I don't think so. I've never found them anywhere.
No.
So those will probably just be spur of the moment when you load up Disney Plus once they release, you'll be able to see it. So we all have to wait, unfortunately, but that's okay. That's okay. Well, Andy, are you excited for next week? That's where we're gonna end this. Are you like, what do you necessarily? How hype are you? Is it like 10 out of 10 through the roof? Are you super excited?
I'm super excited for it. To be fair, one because it's
Good.
Star Wars, and like we don't have much Star Wars content at the moment to grasp on. Um, so I mean, the only thing we've had in the last what like 10 months has been Visions, which isn't even like a canon thing. So
Ah, yeah.
it's kind of like okay, well we haven't had anything since what Andor finished, have we?
Yeah, dude, it's been a minute.
So it's been almost a year, I think, for that. So yeah, it's good to have some proper Star Wars content back. Obviously, we've got Mandarin Gregor at the end of May. But for now, I've been like, I'm happy that the Star Wars back. I'm happy that it's Maul. I'm definitely looking forward to next week. I want to see some more Maul carnage
I
because
need
he was
more.
brutal in these first two episodes. The people he took down.
Oh yeah.
So
Yeah, he wasn't
some
playing.
some misguided fool online said that Maul taking out all the cops and stuff in the hallways in the episode one um, sealed the fact that he outdid Vader's Rogue One hallway scene, and I was like, "You are tripping, boy." That is not the case, but it was still cool.
Oh yeah. You always got to give flowers when there's a hallway scene, whether it's Vader, Balin Skull, Darth Maul. Now this is what Maul's third hallway scene in Star Wars, correct? We had
I
one in
think so,
Clone
yeah.
Wars, which was awesome, and then two here already. I mean, two Maulway scenes in the first two episodes is amazing. I
His Clone
Yeah,
Wars one
no,
was
it's
better.
not
His
close.
Clone Wars one was better than this. Like escaping
Oh
the
yeah,
season seven, escaping
yeah,
the ship, because he didn't even have a lightsaber, didn't have nothing. He used the ship to
yeah.
shield himself and to kill the
Doors and
clones.
everything.
So
Yeah, no, no, no chance. Vader, until proven otherwise, Vader will forever have the greatest
oh
hallway
yeah,
scene.
because people
That
talk about
is,
like Vader versus Luke season two Mandalorian, and I'm like no, Vader still
mm.
edges because it was so unexpected. Even though the Luke one was unexpected as well.
Oh yeah,
Like
Luke. I forgot about Luke's hallway scene. Star Wars in their
But
hallways, man.
yeah, they kind of stole that from Daredevil a little bit because Daredevil every season has like a one-shot hallway scene where he does like a 5 or 6 minute fight where it's just one continuous shot of him
Oh,
beating
that's
people
cool.
up.
That's cool.
And they are unreal. They're some of the best scenes in all of Marvel. And I think so. I think they kind of stole like the idea of hallway scenes from that. But yeah, epic. I did like. No one's ever going to beat Vader's. Maul's trying very hard with 3 good scenes, but he's still not going to top Vader.
Yeah, 1000%.
See,
Always Vader.
Mando knows. Mando knows.
Yes. Where episode should be around 22 minutes with the premiere at 28. So we oh okay. So going forward maybe yeah, maybe that's solid I guess. Just give me 25 30
Expected,
minutes.
isn't it?
That should be
Yeah,
okay.
expected. In line with like Clone Wars and Bad Batch animated episodes.
Yes. Well, hell yeah, guys. What are Maul Shadow Lord? We're gonna wrap up, but if you guys have any other comments, ideas, make sure to drop those because we will see those on the YouTube studio. So let us know how hype you are for Maul Shadow Lord. Andy, thanks for joining me, man. We will,
Always.
guys, we will be back doing this once again to go over the next week's episodes, and we're gonna have a really good time. We're gonna go through Maul Shadow Lord. This series could potentially bring us some of the best Star Wars animation. Visually, it's already stunning. It's definitely top tier. But let's see where the story goes. You know, the hype now has to enter the flow state. We have to, we're here for the ride. We have to see how the rest of these 8 episodes play out. And when this is all said and done, it'll be after May 4th, that Wednesday right after. So we will see how this all wraps up. And I feel like, like with Skeleton Crew, we were able to look at every single episode as a whole and be like, okay, what's the final verdict for this series? And I can't wait for that with this show. So to see where it all ends, would be great. So, yeah, Andy, always thank you for joining me, brother. I always
Always.
love talking Star Wars with you. For the people who joined in late or who are watching the replay right now and have made it this far, let them know where they can find you, what you're about, and let them know how cool you are, man.
So as always, Brandon, you know I love chatting Star Wars with you. It's always appreciated to come on and chat it with you. I'm excited to cover the next what was it like 5 weeks of more. That's going to be awesome.
Yeah.
But Why So Serious Podcast is the name of the show that I'm on nowadays. You can catch us on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, X, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you're listening to stuff. If you like your comic book stuff, get onto TikTok. JD covers a lot of comic book stuff on there and on YouTube. If you just like your general nerd news, we do those kind of episodes. If you like other stuff outside of Star Wars, like Daredevil, The Boys, we're covering that at the moment. We've got lots of stuff going on. So jump over there and you'll catch us on there.
Beautiful. Like the man said, go follow them. Don't be lame. It's down in the description as well. So go check that out. And yeah, Andy, of course, man, I appreciate you joining me. We will definitely run this back next week. We'll see what kind of episodes 3 and 4 are. I'm super excited, man. Can't wait. But yeah, thank you everybody for tuning in today. We will see you next Wednesday, same time, 1 p.m. Central Standard Time. And we're going to talk some Star Wars yet again. And of course, Maul Shadow Lord. So until next time, guys, we will see you in the next one.